We are live, Bay State running. We are here with the Tinman Elite crew, some of the best runners here in the world. We are very grateful to have them here at the Adrian Martinez Classic 2019. Go across the board. First man up, we have your name?
Goose, Jordan Gossman.
Patrick Joseph.
Jeff Thies.
All right, and guys, first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, we're so happy we have him here, but Tinman Elite crew, make sure you guys look it up, Google it. All of them have respective IG channels. We're gonna use their usernames, but Tinman Elite crew's been putting a lot of work, and there's a lot of running crews out here, but this team is on the rise. They're young, they're talented. Let's start with my Australian. So, Goose, back home at secondary school, right?
Yeah.
When did we first started racing?
I first started racing when I started high school, grade 7, so I was around 13 years old. I just qualified for the state meet. I matured a little bit earlier than some of the other young kids, I guess. I was about this tall and a little bit heavier, actually, at that age, so I managed to win my state championships. And then the next couple of years, I ended up going backwards further and further as the kids developed and caught up to me. And I guess that was just a learning curve. And once I did win that first state title at such a young age, and then started losing, I wanted that feeling of winning again. So I actually started training for it, and my last year of high school I ended up winning again. So yeah, that was my story of high school, basically. So.
We're gonna get back to that story of adversity, winning so early and coming back. Next man up, Pat, Virginia Tech.
Yeah, man.
Hokies in the house.
That's right.
I know you high school kids pay attention to Loudon Valley and what they did and how they crushed it, but this is one of the pioneers. Before the Hunters, P. Doherty was the man putting it down on the national level. So Pat, let's talk about the journey, Virginia, VT.
Yeah.
When did you start running?
I started running freshman year of high school, was like cross country. That was the first time, and I didn't like it. It was hard. It was like I was a lacrosse player. I didn't want to run far, but I started because my brother and my that coach at the time, his son ran, and they would challenge me, and I'm just like super competitive, so I wasn't gonna let them talk crap to me. So I ran cross country, and then I broke my foot actually that middle of the season, so I was out, and I played lacrosse again and swam, and didn't really run until sophomore year of track. So I was that was kind of my first intro to that, and I ran 800 in a mile at some random like Wednesday meet, and I ran pretty quick for like the first race ever, and I was just hooked. Like I think I won both those races, and I was like, damn, this is nice to win, and I was kind of addicted to that ever since. And then lacrosse, you don't, unless you live kind of at the Northeast, you don't really go much farther than high school.
Really?
Most of the time, I mean, there are a few guys who make it out, really good guys, but I wasn't like the best, and so I figured track was the easiest way for me, at least, to make a name for myself, and racing was what I loved to do. And so I knew Tommy Curtin. He was on my high school team, and now he went to Tech.
Wow.
And that was kind of my in there, and it was really natural to go straight to Virginia Tech because my whole family went there as well, all my siblings, and yeah, I just fit in. So college running was really easy in terms of like fitting in and like progressing from freshman year all the way to 5th year. So
guys, shout out to my man Tommy Curtin,
Oh, yeah.
Freedom Track Club, VT in the house. Tommy just got married recently.
he did. I was at his wedding. It was
Shout out to Tommy.
beautiful.
Last but not least, I don't want to say Tice, is it?
Peace.
Thies. Sorry about
get
that.
it. It happens
We
all
have
the
it's
time.
Tice Thies. We have my man Jeff Thies. Now, you know, Jeff did something that was really dope. Guys, like many of you pay attention to the powerhouses of like the Stanfords and the Oregons and all these big name schools. And, you know, Jeff and company, Jeff led Portland back. And if you know, like D1 NCAA, Portland was not one of the premier programs in the country. And Jeff, let's talk about why Portland in that journey, and how did you get Portland, you and your teammates, get Portland on the map the last 2 years?
Oh man, Portland it's a beautiful city. We were just there this past weekend, and forgot how much I loved it. I had a bunch of family that still lives there, so that made it easy. I've been traveling from Southern California up there for Thanksgivings growing up, and it was just kind of it felt easy at the time. It was the best school that was looking at me and offered me a spot on the team. That they'd been top 10 a few times when I was in high school, and then actually my sophomore year we got on the podium for the first time. We got third, but I remember sitting at home in Portland watching that and feeling like, you know, as much as I felt a part of it, I also felt like I wanted to be one of the 7 guys standing on the podium. And the next year we didn't make NCAA cross, and I remember sitting in our coach's office and hearing that was the worst year of his career, because for the first time in 10 years we hadn't qualified for NCAAs, and just feeling like, you know, that was on me to like redeem ourselves for that. And 2 years later we ended up getting second, and then just last year the guys came back and got third, which I think was way more impressive to come back from such a high to maintain that, keep themselves disciplined. And I mean, it's one of the hardest meets in the world, so to be that competitive 2 years in a row is really something special.
Yep. Guys, why Tinman Elite Crew? Why coach? Why the choice to join that crew and run with them, providing that there was other options to start?
Who wants to go first, Jeff?
Well, this morning we were talking about kind of last year. Sam ran 3:38 in the 1500. Sam Parsons, yeah.
Yep.
And that kind of sold Jordan and I on just like, okay, so like, yeah, you know, Coach Schwartz knows what he's talking about, and that really got us to buy in. But even before that, just following them like you guys are now following us on Instagram, you can just feel what we hope you can feel, is it like we're just a bunch of guys that really enjoy spending time with each other, spending time training, and like want to help build something bigger than ourselves, and that shines through.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'm the newest member, so I think I have a good perspective of kind of watching the team grow from Instagram and all that, and I know Drew, and I've raced Sam, and I know some of the guys. And I came out to visit. First off, I just messaged Drew, and I was like, hey, you know, we have a relationship, we have a history, like, I'd love to come out and visit sometime, just not even like run, just visit and like hang out. And he was like, yeah, man. And at the time I wasn't super happy where I was, so I went out, and it was a pretty immediate kind of click. All the guys were waiting for me in the living room watching something, I don't even know, and like a Cowboys game, and it was so goofy, and I just like walked in. It felt like I was connecting with them immediately, like kind of college team, like I had been taken out of my old college team and placed in a new group of guys, like a family. And so for me, it was really simple just to kind of see how much they want to change and how much we want to elevate this sport. I coached in DC at St. Albans, the all-boys school there, and that culture, I was trying to push their culture and bring that running culture up. And so with here, I have a bigger platform with these guys, and I think the idea is to kind of elevate the sport there. So it just fit in really well. Yeah,
new, exciting.
I was in Europe in 2017, and for some reason or another, I met Drew Hunter, and we went for a run together. I think I just had my last race of the season. Didn't run as expected, and we just got to talking, and at that stage he hadn't moved out to Boulder yet, and obviously hadn't started the Tinman Elite group, but basically told me about his plans and was thinking about moving to Boulder. And I guess since then I just kind of followed him, and I seen it all unravel. I think I was one of the first 50 to 100 people to like the TINMEN Instagram, and just followed it along since then, and it just looked like something different. You know, they were having fun, even with just the 4 guys that they had there. It seemed like it was different and unique, and they were really having fun with it. And aside from running quick, that's obviously what I want to do, just have fun. And that kind of sold me on it, I guess, just that aspect of the sport, which is a little overlooked, which is just enjoying it and having fun. So
I've noticed that there's been the current theme and we guys, each of you discussed about the synergy amongst your teammates, amongst your peers. How critical is environment? Because we have different nuances going on, even at the middle school, high school level. And I think for you high school kids, you guys want to hear it. Like, what is the gains of training with the guys and the girls compared to, like, anyone can crush miles by themselves, but like, how much energy, synergy, how much can we grow when you run with a team that you are on the same page with, people that you respect, and people that uplift you? What is the difference?
Huge. I was trying to come back from an injury by myself. I joined another group, wasn't working out. I felt like I was still training by myself. And the second, I would honestly say I was very depressed in that like mental state of I couldn't get like out of that horrible like loneliness, right? And I joined this team, and it was like immediate. Like Drew and all of the guys helped, not just Drew, but Drew's an easy name to throw out. It's just like he elevated me out of that. And running together, it's so much easier when you run 30 minutes or an hour, however many miles you have in the morning. Just roll 30 minutes, an hour. It feels like nothing. Like I can do an hour now. I don't love to run by myself, but I can do an hour by myself now because of that. And it's the guys, the team, that like 12 guys. Any given day you're running with Jeff, Goose. Like I'll run with Reed, who's a marathoner. Like doesn't necessarily mean like we can't train together, but like it's an odd pairing sometimes, but it still works. And so it's massive. So guys who are in high school, or girls who are in high school, and you feel like you can't run by yourself, find a group, find two people, one person, it doesn't even matter. It's so much easier. You're gonna make your training 10 times better.
Yeah. One of my favorite things is whenever someone asks, like, how do you run that far? Like, how do you do that? And I think of it more of like, I'm not running, X, Y, Z. I'm spending an hour hanging out with my friends. Yeah. Because at least for us, that's how our recoveries are. We're recovering, so we're hanging out. We're joking, we're messing around. Like, it's just a good time. And it's not about what the watch says at that point. It's about like spending that quality time with the guys that we're surrounded by.
We're just a bunch of older high school kids. Like, really.
Yeah.
With that being said, American distance has been on the rise, right? Yeah. The last few world championships, Olympic cycles, TINMEN looks like they're going to be shaking things up in the future. Besides altitude, Boulder's altitude, what makes Boulder ideal and pristine place that allows you guys to train? What are the gains from being out in Boulder?
I think it's just like, it's big enough that there's a lot to do, but small enough that there's not the distractions of a big city, I suppose. Kind of feels like you're in a training camp environment. You've got endless trails there, you've got the track pretty close by, and obviously the two houses where we're all housed together are very close to each other. So for me, coming over from Australia, it definitely feels like it has that training camp vibe, but at the same time it kind of feels homey as well. So yeah, I guess just having those two elements, not having all the distractions that a big city has been the major thing for me, for sure. It's just beautiful running, and it's very easy to get around. So
it's very supportive as well. I don't know much about running history, as sad as it is. I'm like the worst at it. The team is really good. They all know everything and all the guys' names, but someone that doesn't have that background, it's cool knowing how supportive like the people of Boulder are for running. You don't get heckled or crap like that. The running stores have Olympians in them, like Mark Plagis. Like, we have some of the best support in these industry out in Boulder still. And that's really cool. It's just, I'm learning all the time still. Like, I don't think anytime I'm hanging with the guys, they'll bring up names, and I'm just like, yeah, sure, yeah, I know who that is, and I'll like Google it on my phone. I'm like,
put in the notes. Who do I gotta
next
look
time
up?
they
I
talk
met the
about
GOAT.
Yeah,
exactly.
I met the GOAT.
And I've met people that I don't know who they are at the time, and then I'm like, who was that? And they're like, that was a marathon like Olympian or world champ or blah blah blah. And I'm like,
running down the road, and Jenny Simpson was coming the other way.
Yeah, it's a cool little. It's a cool way to think about how people are just people. Like that's one of the things that our team is trying to push forward, is like runners, athletes, any kind of superstar that you idolize is just a human
being.
Yeah. And so, like
that.
Like I met Jenny Simpson one time. I'm sure she doesn't know who I am. Like we're not friends, but I've met her and we can say like, hey, she knows the Tinman knacks on the chest, and it's just cool to like be very casual with everyone. It makes the training a lot easier when you're not like freaking out when you're on a track and Will Lear and all these guys are like people who I looked up to coming in. They're all training at the same tracks that we're training at.
But like to piggyback off of that, like as in like we're all human. We want it to be open to everyone, and whenever we're at a meet or anywhere, if we're in the grocery store down the street, like if anyone sees us, like we want guys to come up and say hi.
Like those
to
North Central
ourselves.
kids.
Yeah, we
North Central Iowa.
got to no, North Central in Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
They were cooling down with Pat and Sam. I was in the airport flying from Portland to here, and there's some young guys, some middle schoolers from Ventura, California, and they were like, "Oh, Jeff, like how's it going?" And still repping the Tinman acts, and they had their shirts on, and it was so cool. And like we want people to come up and introduce themselves, get to know us, and get to know you.
Be a fanboy.
We're fanboys.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. We all have people we look up. Guys, what would you say to your former self? Obviously, there's no regrets. Everyone's had so far an amazing career and this bright future. We're all relatively young, real young, so that you can only get better. But like, besides that, what would we say to our former selves? If you can speak to Jeff at 15 or Pat at 15, Goose at 15, what do you tell that kid at 15 years old who's still dreaming? Like, are you gonna get here one day? And what does it take to get? What do you tell that kid?
I guess like just don't stress out about it. You know, like things are gonna work out, and just remember to enjoy it, because I know I'm enjoying it a lot more now than I was back then. Because I was
the freshman year.
Yeah, man. I was so worried about like trying to do this and trying to make a career out of it and trying to get to this level that I forgot to enjoy it at that young age. So I guess just that. Aside from that, I really have no regrets. It's been a good life.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably all three of our answers. Just like enjoy the small things. I remember Sam Parsons wrote, coming out of college, an open letter to the NCAA, anyone who's there, and basically the gist of it was enjoy the small things, enjoy the things that you wouldn't be doing while you're not running. So like anything you're doing outside of running, enjoy that more, because running should be something you turn to like get away. And in college and high school, at some points, most of the time for me, I had a really weird relationship with running, and it wasn't something I wanted to do all the time. And it's something that now, if I was talking to my 15-year-old self, I'd say like, just relax and like kind of let it flow through, because it all turns out, it'll all work out eventually. But yeah, enjoy the little things. Don't drink Mountain Dew, guys. Like, I drank a lot of Mountain Dew when I was 15. That was probably the biggest mistake I made.
Oh man.
I would have to say, don't underestimate hard work. Don't doubt yourself. Like when I was 14, I was 5'4", 100 pounds, and I couldn't break 35 seconds for a 200. Like all out. I would run 35-second 200. So
now
that man's doing 24s in Boulder.
Now he's just clipping the 24s off now, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's room for growth in everyone, as long as you are willing to dedicate the time, and it makes it much easier when you're surrounded by friends. But yeah.
In the professional setting, how much is diet and nutrition recovery? Did you guys grab that nuance early, or like how critical is that? Back to our former self. Mountain Dews and Twinkies, like.
In high school, I didn't know what I was doing. I honestly still don't know what I'm doing, to be quite honest. In high school, I should have focused on diet. I'm not gonna say like stick to a diet, because everyone's different, and you shouldn't kind of limit yourself there. But just everything in moderation is kind of what we go off of. I don't think any of the guys stick to any diets from what I've seen. I mean, I know what they eat, and it's not a diet. Just I would say everything in moderation, and try and eat like greens sometimes. It's not, for me, for a runner, it's just like eat as much as I can, and I'll burn it off. And if it's good food as well, it helps. So like for me, I just like to eat when I'm hungry, and I eat what I want to eat. Again, in moderation. So that's kind of the way I go about it.
I
Yeah.
mean,
I don't know if that's good advice, but
We're being ourselves.
yeah.
We're transparent.
I don't think you can really like stick to a diet. It's got to be more of like a lifestyle thing. So just trying to eat healthy for sure is the main
Key
thing.
word.
Can I add something? The man
Lifestyle,
eats
yeah.
more peanut butter
Yeah.
than anyone
I eat a
in the
lot of
world.
peanut butter.
Peanut butter and toast, kids. That's what is it? Toast and tea.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the ultimate food. A little bit of protein in the peanut butter, a little bit of carbs in the toast. Have a coffee with it, and you're good to go.
Good to go.
Yeah, I think just
Key.
like trying to eat healthy, trying to eat natural is like the main thing that I do. And still, I mean, like it's the same as running. If you don't enjoy it and don't enjoy your life, and you
Yeah.
can't enjoy having a pizza here and there, or
Yeah.
an ice cream or a chocolate, there's no point in doing it. So I think if you're craving something like that, go ahead and have it. You can't stick to a strict diet all year round because
It gets boring.
Yeah, it's not going to make it enjoyable. So I try to eat as healthy as I can, but every now and then Jeff's got a block of Toblerone in the room right now. I've picked a piece or
I
two
had
from it.
Skittles
So
yesterday.
yeah, I mean,
Sour
like
Patch Kids in my room
little
right
bit of
now.
candy.
Like
Just a little bit, though.
Just a little bit.
You don't have to finish the bar.
stay.
I mean, we're
it's
all running
boring
like
if you
100
eat the
miles a
same
week as
crap.
well, so we can burn off a lot of that stuff,
Yeah.
especially like Pat said, if it's in moderation. I wouldn't be eating a block of chocolate every night with dinner, but I used to as a 15-year-old kid too. So
Mountain Dew. It was like my
Eat your
advice.
veggies.
Yeah.
Eat your veggies.
pulling back on that stuff, you can still enjoy it, but yeah, just trying to eat as healthy as possible while still enjoying life and enjoying some of those foods. It's definitely my diet or lifestyle,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
I prefer to call it.
Guys, is there a misconception that professional athletes still dream? Because I assume you guys all still dream, right?
yeah.
What do you say back to the youth and who are gonna see this video? Why do we encourage to dream?
I'm dreaming right now. Like I just came off of an injury stint for I haven't raced in almost a year or over a year, and I'm now hitting times that I hit like really peak of my seasons in college, and I want to run faster, and I want to run with these guys and get to USA's and Worlds and Olympics hopefully. I mean, I'm currently dreaming. I will continue to dream. Like, what's boring if you don't dream? Like, what you've reached
That dream you have in math class when you're not paying attention, because I know I wasn't paying attention in math class. Pay attention to math class.
Pay attention, kids.
That's the dream that gets you out the door every day. That's the dream that makes what you're doing exciting. It makes it worth it. It makes it hard. It makes it difficult. But that's just what, at the end of the day, makes it so special.
Yep. Guys, any shout outs? Coaches? I mean, gotta give a shout out to the coaches. How were your coaches and your current coaches instrumental in your development? Because you brought up your peers, your teammates.
Yeah.
Coaches and parents. Coaches and parents.
huge.
How
Massive.
critical? Yes, Mom, I love you too.
My high school coach, I was uncharted territory for him. He was an ultra guy, marathon, high mileage, and I think I threw a stick into his wheel. He didn't know what to do with me, and he really had to break out of his shell to really coach me, which I thought was impressive, and so he did a great job. I think it was great for me because he coached me in a way that I had so much room to grow into college. And then Coach Thomas, who's now the Oregon coach, he developed me really well. Obviously, I made it pretty far. And then Coach Tom now, or Coach Schwartz, as we call him, I just trust him completely. I don't fight back. I don't do anything different. He lets me know, and that's super important for me, is because it takes a lot of stress off. I don't have to worry about exactly what I'm going to do or exactly hitting these perfect times, because he's very adaptive and kind of loose with what needs to be done. It's as long as the work's done, it's I'll be fine. And so I trust
in the
that.
barn. Heads in the barn.
Exactly.
Parents, guys. Parents.
Parents are huge. I mean, anything that I've ever done, I can always just point up to my mom and dad and just thank them for their support, their endless support. I'm always so grateful for everything that they've been able to offer me, and to have them by my side, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Tinman Elite is going to be chopping things down in a track near you. IGs.
Jeff-Thies, it's THIES.
Pat __Joseph, JOSEPH.
Jordan Gooseman, _.
Guys, make sure you log on, check out the Tinman Elite, get some merch, get some swag when you're out there crushing miles, and when you're done, you throw in the Tinman Elite because you know they're hacking it down. Bay State running. We'll see you guys tomorrow.